Hello everybody, this is a record in which we are presenting our academic poster for the Preparation Academic Skill course. Welcome to our presentation. First of all, our presentation topic is vivisection, that is using living organisms for experiments. It comes from, the word vivisection comes from Latin, and vivus means alive, sectio means cutting, which means that vivisection means cutting organisms who are still alive. It can be any type of surgery on living beings. It can be on mice, it can be on rats, rabbits, frogs, monkeys, or even human beings. Let's take a look at those graphs. There are two graphs over here. Graph 1.1 illustrates us the animal use in vivisection. It shows the figures of animals. Mice is the majority of use in vivisection. It is followed by rats and then fish and amphibians. Let's take a look at the other graph. It shows that medical testing on animals and its moral acceptability. It is observed that in due course, morally wrong experiment numbers are increasing. However, moral acceptable numbers are decreasing. We wanted to draw attention to this point, vivisection, because vivisection is shown as for the benefits of humanity. Nonetheless, it is not harming animals or other organisms, even for humanity, is not acceptable. There are 5 reasons I want to claim not to use vivisection anymore. First, it is unethical. Second one, it is expensive. Third one, it is wasteful, which means that it can be time wasting sources, wasting money. The fourth one is archaic, which means that it's obsolete and old-fashioned. It should not be used anymore. And the last one is, it is unnecessary since there are alternatives of it. Due to this, we have done some research to see if it is possible to avoid testing on animals or not. Happy news, the outcomes are promising. There are some alternatives to vivisection. My friend Irem will explain you the first alternative method to vivisection, which is the computer modeling. Thank you for listening to me.
Hi, I am going to talk about computer simulation. Computer simulation is the alternative solution for reducing vivisection. And research shows that computer simulation of the heart can improve drug development for patients and reduce the need for animal testing. Animal testing has reliable strategy, but it is expensive, time-consuming, and highly controversial. Moreover, computer simulation of heart cell strategy has been used by several companies, and according to research at Oxford University, human computer models of heart cell are more accurate than animal experiments. However, it is immense issue that the system needs too large power source. For example, one heat bit can take 3 hours in computer with almost 1000 processors. It is big number, but I hope there will be a solution for this. In conclusion, computer simulation are a faster, cheaper, and effective alternative to vivisection, and they will soon play an important role in the early stages of drug development. Vivisection is a massacre, and every way is better than vivisection. Now, another alternative solution is organ chips. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I want to emphasize on in vitro testing, but before I start to explain it, I want to stress that why we need in vitro testing rather than other alternatives, or basically rather than animal testing. Firstly, there are some understandable concerns regarding the ethics at that point, the animal testings. But in addition to all of these, it is not enough to be effective for the human treatments, since despite that we have similar organisms with animals, our biological components are not exactly the same. That's why some drugs or treatments may be beneficial for the animal body, while it is harmful for the human body. It is a very complex process to manage the experiments on animals, because it's very hard to ensure whether these drugs or others will be beneficial for the human body. At that point, scientists argued that why do we need animal testings when we have enough opportunity to create organ chips? Organ chips means the chip which includes human cells or tissues. Actually, it's very promising and clear idea to use. I have two examples to explain and elaborate this issue. The first one is three-dimensional human cells, their white skin model. With this model, you can easily evaluate and observe the situation in the treatment of skin allergies. But in the animal testing, you have to inject chemicals to cause an allergy on the animals, and you have to shave their skins to observe, to make the observation better. But in the in vitro testing, there is no problems, there is no harm and punished like the ones in the animal testings. They can easily observe the efficiency of the treatments in the chips. Another way is actually kind of a device made by German. It is called VitroCell. With this method, scientists are able to create, for example, the human lungs, and they can observe the outcomes of a high inhale of chemicals, like the cigarettes and their effects. But in the animal testings, the scientists have to force animals to get into tiny tubes, and they have to inhale the toxic air. It is very cruel and not acceptable, I think. When we have that advanced technology and alternatives, I think using the animal testing is nonsense.
I would like to mention attitude of a global organization, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA. PETA is the largest organization with over 6 million members, which fights for animal rights in science. For this reason, in 1978, they started to arrange meetings annually in order to share latest information and discuss how they can improve the methods without using animals. The meetings concluded that each companies have some obligations, which includes investments and cooperations. As you can read on the poster, the acts basically, the rules basically focus on the cooperation between PETA's scientists and the companies, which is member of PETA. The cooperation will be the cooperation brings about some outcomes which reduce the number of using animals in tests. Even though PETA is not just one organization in the world, we need to more and more scientists who are aware of animal rights in science in order to reduce the number of animal testing. Yeah.
I want to talk about results, and I want to summarize what we have talked a little bit. In summary, you can easily understand that it is an obsolete way to use animals testings for experiments anymore, because it is obvious that we just cause damage on their body, and during the experiments, most of them die before the scientists conclude the experiments. Because of all of these reasons, we have to be aware of there are other alternatives which are more beneficial in terms of the cost, the time efficiency, also the results efficiency and productivity. At that point, as a group members, we think that more and more corporations and investments are needed at that point, because despite that some companies are already started to use these methods, it's not enough to get rid of the animal testings exactly. At that point, do you want to add something?
Here are our conclusions. We should be aware of there's no need to test on animals anymore, because there are alternative ways, like Irem said, computer modeling, and like Damla said, in vitro testing. If those methods cannot be sufficient singly, it is possible to use them combined and together to get better results of it. There's no need to test on animals presently. We are developing our technology rapidly, and we live in a technology era. Still testing on animals is some kind of abuse. We believe in that, and it has to be decreased. In the long run, it has to be finished completely. For further information, you can visit the website beneath the poster. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and
we recommend you to reconsider your knowledge regarding the animal testings and the possible alternatives to it.
Animals are not items to be tested.
Yes, everybody is better than restriction.
thank you.
Bye bye.